shops closing down. But when the local store closed in one village in Herefordshire, residents decided to set up the business themselves. Catherine Mackey is there now, and Kath, they've been rather busy, I understand.
They have indeed, Suzanne. Yes, thanks very much. This may look like a mobile home tube, but in fact, it's a monument to community spirit. No fewer than 288 people who live here in Yarpole in Herefordshire paid £10 each so they could have this, their very own shop. Now, on Saturday, it was the opening ceremony, and you can see from some of this video footage they shot themselves that the whole community were involved, young and old alike. Now, if you're wondering what that noise is going on behind me, it's the generator which provides electricity to keep the shop going. I'm going to go inside because there's a couple of the organisers in here, and this is it. This is Yarpole Community Shop. Now, Pat Bolton, to get so many people involved is quite extraordinary. Why was it so important for the village to have a shop?
Well, it was so dramatic when the other one closed. Everyone needs a shop, they need to meet people, they need to do all their local shopping, and they were absolutely desperate that this shop should open again.
Chris Gunston, you arranged for it to be stocked, didn't you? I mean, how democratic a choice was that? Did people get to choose their favourite things?
They didn't precisely, but we put out a questionnaire to every household in the community, asking them what sorts of things they wanted us to stock, and then we very much followed that. There were people, of course, who said, I particularly want shredded wheat or Weetabix, and we've tried to meet their requirements as far as possible.
The amount of people coming here this morning while I've been here has been extraordinary. What do you think this is going to mean really for the future of this village?
Well, I hope it will be successful. It's a good indication, isn't it?
Were you surprised by the amount of support it got?
We expected quite a lot of support, but not quite this amount really. And this means we've really got a good chance of ending up with a permanent building, specifically built to be a shop rather than this temporary one, lovely though this is.
Well, the best of luck to you, and well done. And it's back to you in the studio, Suzanne.
Thanks very much, Kath. Very enterprising indeed.
Areas is getting tougher with post offices, schools and shops closing down.
But when the local store closed in one village in Herefordshire, the locals decided to set up in business themselves. Catherine Mackey has been checking out the customer service.
It's got a beautiful old church, a red telephone box and a pub. And until recently, the village of Yarpole in Herefordshire had a corner shop, but it closed. I'll let the enterprising lot who live here tell you what happened next.
More than 200 of us paid £10 each and set up our own shop.
Yes, 288 people to be precise, clubbed together, and this is the result. Yarpole Community Shop is open for business, and as the name suggests, it's a monument to community spirit. A home video captured the opening ceremony on Saturday, and many were back today.
People are coming down and we're all chatting again because in fact the village has been dead for the last... Without the shop, the village has been dead.
I'm fed up with shopping at the supermarkets all the time. I'd made a decision I wanted to use local produce, and this has been marvellous.
The village just seemed dead, and now we can see this morning it's starting to come back to life again.
People were really desperate. They needed a shop. They were begging me really to make this work, and of course it's not me at all, it's loads of people involved, and we have managed to do it, and I'm very grateful that we have.
Volunteers will man the shop 6 days a week, and making sure popular items are in stock is keeping them busy.
Frank's luxury biscuits have nearly all gone. Quite a wide range, but I think Tudge's sausages really are way ahead.
They're still waiting to be connected to mains electricity, but already this temporary structure is looking pretty permanent. Catherine Mackey, BBC Midlands Today, Yarpole.
Yeah, and they're doing a roaring trade by the looks of things. The Herefordshire village paid £10 each to get it reopened. Now the community shop in Yarpole has been such a success, it's expanding into the local church. James McDonald's been to take a look.
Thanks. Well, when we looked at the subject of rural businesses and village shops the other week, we had lots of your emails. You were telling us how hard it is to run shops in villages, the long hours, the low pay, competition from supermarkets. But here in Yarpole, they've been running their own community shop. So let's find out how they've been doing it. They started 4 years ago, and here are two of the people who have helped with the success story here. Janet Chittum, first of all. When you opened 4 years ago, did you imagine you would have made such a big success of it?
I think we hoped we would, but I don't know that we knew that, but we definitely tried.
lots is involved. Lots of people in the village stumped up £10 each to get it going. You're still staffed by volunteers. It must be a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. There's a lot of organisation and a lot of good effort by a lot of people.
A great idea.
It doesn't look much, but when you face an 8-mile round trip for a loaf of bread, this hut's a lifeline. Yarpole Community Shop opened in 2005 on a shoestring budget and staffed for free by volunteers. After 4 years, it's surviving and thriving. Were you heartened when so many people came forward initially and so many people still volunteer and help?
Indeed we are. I mean, it shows that in fact it was something that the community wanted. And hopefully the fact that they have continued to support us suggests that we've done what they wanted and are keeping them happy.
It might be something essential like electrical fuses, perhaps you've forgotten a pint of milk, or you've come in to treat yourself with a cake, or maybe a bit of Sally's homemade blackcurrant jam. Whatever it is, 4 years on, people in Yarpole can no longer live without their community shop. And because overheads are so low, many of the prices here are lower than bigger supermarkets. In fact, things are going so well, they're expanding into new
There's a growing need for urgent repairs to thousands of historic churches in England, but as congregations decline, so does the ability to pay for those repairs. But a recent policy change by the Church of England allows the space inside churches to be shared with the local community, saving many of them from closure. And Juliet has been to Herefordshire to see this new policy in action.
St Leonard's Church in the little village of Yarpole, just northwest of Hereford. It's a good example of the problems faced by the Church of England, which has around 28,000 churches on its books. Many of them just aren't suited to the needs of today's congregations.
It is a fabulous, well-maintained, beautiful building, bang in the centre of its community. We have for many years been using it for community purposes as well as for worship, but it has some huge practical problems in that the seating is hopelessly uncomfortable, it's immovable, and the heating system is inadequate and is now broken down. And so we need to do a massive fit-for-purpose modernisation.
Until quite recently, the Church of England had a pretty inflexible all-or-nothing approach to the problems faced by St Leonard's. Churches had to be used purely for worship. If the upkeep became too much for the local congregation, the door would be locked and that would be that. The building became redundant. In some cases, churches were sold on for another use, such as housing, or demolished. But now, all that's changed.
The church has recognised that we have to change the use of our buildings, and recently what they've done is actually changed the legislation that governs the use of church buildings, so it's now perfectly legally possible to lease part of a building to another organisation and not make the whole church redundant. So that's opened up huge possibilities for people.
What we're going to do in this building is to create a community shop in an area behind the screen at the back there. We're going to remove all the pews and put in comfortable seating. We're going to create a new insulated floor with an underfloor heating system, and we're going to reorder this choir area here as a primary worship space. Above the shop, we're going to create a gallery so that we don't lose any space in the building. That will be additional worship space and also a place for a cafe and other recreational events.
The new legislation will allow